It must have been a little scary for Peter to be greeted by people representing a military leader from the country that was occupying his land. Even if he had received this vision from God about all of God's creation being good, he wouldn't have forgotten what it was like to feel afraid for his and his family's safety whenever Roman soldiers went by. It was smart of Cornelius's servants to quickly reassure Peter that their boss was well respected by Peter's community. It told him they understood the same could not be said for all Roman soldiers. Similarly, Cornelius might have been puzzled to learn that a Jewish man was the answer to his prayers. Romans in general were taught to see the people of Israel as inferior, with little wisdom to contribute. There is a saying that God can work through anyone, and while that may be true, this story is a great example of God choosing the right people to create an incredibly inclusive movement we now call Christianity. Peter wasn't perfect, and neither was Cornelius. But one thing they had in common was humility and a willingness to listen for God's voice, even when it told them things they would not have expected. If Peter and Cornelius hadn't been humble, we might not have a church at all today. But like John and Jesus, these different people were able to recognize God's message because it was about inviting more people in and extending them love. And like the daughters of Zelophehad, they recognized that old laws of separation and hierarchy didn't need to be protected if those laws conflicted with God's vision of welcome and inclusion. There's a lesson for us there about being willing to recognize where the voices around us have taught us biases that have nothing to do with God, and also about taking risks to do something different, which is what Peter and Cornelius did simply by being seen with each other. One other really beautiful thing about this story is that Peter and Cornelius approached each other as if they were worthy of investing in. They put effort into meeting. They greeted each other with humility and respect. They talked about what mattered. Some of us get to hear God's vision for us through an individual dream or vision. A lot of the time, though, we hear God's vision or dream for us through our relationships with each other, our listening to each other, and recognizing together where God's all-encompassing love is showing up. Because Peter and Cornelius let their biases be challenged, because they were willing to take risks in order to enact God's will of everyone being welcomed and included, and because they were willing to invest in each other deeply, their dream and God's dream was fulfilled of a movement with room for everyone. As you think about your church, how is God's dream continuing to be fulfilled? And what could change so that it could welcome even more people into experiencing God's love for them and for all?